last century pre-internet bullshit. Many people sell hope and call it strategy. The top would take ages to open, and it was like building drama, building drama, building drama, building drama. Ah!
And we just help people feel a lot more capable in the short term. They kind of borrow confidence from us in the short term until they can build it for themselves.
On today's Engaging Marketeer, I've got not one but two guests. I've got Neil Simpson and James Crawley from KiN Awesome. Yeah, you heard that correct. KiN Awesome. It's a play on words, obviously, as if I was going to say fucking awesome at the start of... Oh, damn it, I've said fucking awesome. Never mind. From KiN Awesome. Yeah. And they help people with their marketing, funnily enough. So we've actually got a guest that talks about marketing. I don't know what's going on. It's like we've gone full circle and we're actually fulfilling our brief for the first time in history. So I'm going to be talking to these two guys about what they do, how they do it, why they do it, and why James actually started working with young offenders and selling burgers to bankers and thought that the young offenders were the offenders and not the bankers. Who knows? So let's find out from the both of them. I've got to start with your brand name. It's the obvious place to start. KiN Awesome. What prompted you to come up with that? And did you have any reservations that, well, some people are not going to like it?
Okay. So the KiN Awesome thing, it's like it's kind of a joke that's got a little bit out of hand, frankly. Right. Our company's called KiN, right? As in, because we believe kind of good business is just about it's about a series of relationships. Relationship with your own products and services, the relationship with your customers, your suppliers, the kind of wider world, your audience, and most importantly, the relationship you have with yourself. So we call the business KiN, and then dickheads that we are thought, how can we put a little bit of a joke in this? So we were like, when we were thinking about a URL, like KiN wasn't available because the company in America have that. And however, KiN Awesome, which is like, we're kind of located kind of close to Bolton, and it's like KiN Awesome. So we pick the URL. Now everybody calls us KiN Awesome. So it's kind of got a little bit out of hand.
And people either love it, which is brilliant because there are people, or they go, oh, that's a bit naughty, and you go, yeah. If you think that's a bit naughty, you're probably not going to like the rest of it that goes along with us. So it's a really good kind of prude detector.
It's one of those kind of things where you know when you make a stupid ass decision and you're like, oh, that'll be funny, and then you realize you have to like live with it.
You got to live with it.
Yeah, and it's great. People, we get a lot of really positive feedback by it, as kind of James is saying. People who are kind of our people, and I suppose that's really good marketing because it weeds out the arseholes and the really picky kind of. Well, you can't do that because it's not professional. Fuck professional. I am the outspoken enemy of professional. And what it does is it kind of filters people out far away.
Yeah.
So that only the people who kind of get us and our kind of values, because we're not for everybody, nor should we be. And so we get better quality of lead, really.
So I take it when you get the LinkedIn police saying things like you can't be posting that on LinkedIn, it's a sort of thing that should be on Facebook, it's not business, it's not corporate, it's not professional, you're also fuck them as well.
Where does business live, Darren? Well, who runs a bit? Who runs a business? You run a business, right?
People run business, and
exactly. Business is people. It ain't the bricks and mortar. It ain't the website. It ain't it's the people. And it's like I'm a B2B business. Fuck off. You're not a B2B business. What you do is you work with sales managers who are people, or you work with chief execs who are people, or lollipop people, or chefs. They're all people. And this whole kind of B2B business bollocks. It's last century pre-internet bullshit where we just broadcast our nonsense as much as possible, get the message out there, which is the most damaging phrase in marketing. Let's just get the message out there, i.e., let's throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. And it's nonsense, because business is about people. It's not B2C anymore or B2B. It's P2P, person to person. And the more you can kind of bake that in, the more likely you are to become successful.
Yeah. And as you say, if you piss people off, then they're not your tribe anyway. So
yeah, fuck them.
Good riddance, quite frankly.
Exactly.
So what prompted you to start this business? Because you both come from very different and weird backgrounds.
His is weirder than mine.
I don't know. You decided that selling burgers to bankers wasn't criminal enough, so then worked in prisons.
No, you sold the burgers to bankers with people who had been in prison.
Oh, right. Yeah, so who were the real criminals? The people in prison or the bankers?
I mean, now we all know it's the bankers, but at the time, it was these kids were definitely stealing scooters when I wasn't looking, and up to all sorts of no good in West London. They were lovely kids, but like proper, chavs, I suppose would be the word we used back then. It was, kind of
couldn't turn your back on
early 2000s.
The roadmen now, James, you old bugger.
They were exactly, all that kind of stuff. They were lovely to me because I was trying to help them and giving them time in a music studio and making t-shirts. But we had a burger van. There was a guy in Devon who had this grass-fed beef that was astounding. It was like I had a couple of steaks that he threw my way and they were amazing. But he'd tricked out this burger van and said, "Look, we'll just give it to you. You guys go and run it and sell burgers." So we rocked up in Canary Wharf and we're selling £10 burgers, which is probably about the average price now. But this was this is about 15 years ago, so we were making a fairly decent markup on that, and we were doing it in a way that every shift had like a gang of them working together. So if they were stealing off each other, not off us. There's a kind of a profit share system going. So it was the only way to keep them honest is that you're stealing from each other. So there's absolutely no point. So we had very, very little of that. It was the only good thing to try to like curb their natural tendencies to try and screw the man. But like, look, that's the man. Let's try and sell as many burgers as we can to get there. But the Canary Wharf guys loved it. They were thinking, well, I'm giving back my lunch money to these young kids. So, it's good fun. And then from there went to go and work in prisons itself, which was even more bonkers. Some of the stories I can tell you about some of the stuff they get up to there is hilarious. Brewing hooch in. It was a brand new prison, so they made these chairs that were all hollow plastic chairs, so you can't really beat someone with a hollow chair. It doesn't really have any heft to it. But these guys realised you could drill a hole in the top of it and brew hooch in the bottom of them until one of them exploded, and it sounded like a bomb had gone off. And there was just this disgusting smelling fruit juice that had gone all over the landing. Yeah, really good fun working in prisons. But that was about, again, trying to help these guys see enterprise and starting a business as a way to get out of that kind of revolving door of unemployment and thievery and back in prison again.
The colouring between the lines thing, though, isn't it? Is that, many people end up in the criminal justice system because they are innately entrepreneurial, just a little bit outside the lines.
Yeah.
So it's one of those kind of harnessing things where you're just kind of going, look, you know how to make this thing work, but it's just a question of making it work so you don't get arrested.
Yeah, exactly. They get all the principles. They get supply and demand. They get like chain of command. They understand like advertising, marketing,
pricing.
All of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Surge pricing. They get all of it.
Yeah. Chasing down invoices and debt. That's important as well.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, mental arithmetic is really, really key.
Yeah. So did you get any successes with those? Did you get anyone actually come out and become successful legally?
What, in terms of businesses? Yeah, loads. There was a guy who came from what we were doing, who'd had some experience of kind of working at height and then went to go and get some contracts working with the railway lines. So he was getting crews together, doing all the trimming of all the trees down the railway lines. And he got some really good contracts off the back of that. So yeah, there's some really, really good success stories. There's a guy from HM Pasties. Have you heard of those? Based up in Bolton or Blackburn. No. One of those northern towns. So he looked at kind of the stuff that Gordon Ramsay was doing with the Bad Boy Baker stuff. So they hand make pasties, sausage rolls, that kind of stuff. We did an event yesterday and they catered for that, and it's brilliant stuff, like really, really good, like amazing pastry, fillings are brilliant, and it's all about getting ex-offenders back on the straight and narrow after being in prison using their skills. So
it's the only event I've ever been at where the the catering got a round of applause by the attendees. It was astonishing.
So the name HM Pasties, that's obviously handmade pasties, but also HMP.
Exactly.
Yeah. Clever.
Yeah. Really
Clever
good
branding. Exactly.
That's beautiful. And at the same time, Neil, you were a performer and a comedian and a filmmaker, I believe.
Arguably still am, I think, if you look at our content. So yeah, I have to say now that I'm very clear about being a professional performer, professional filmmaker, and
it's easy for you to say.
Comedian. Yeah, an unprofessional comedian. I have had many attempts at being professionally funny. I can be accidentally funny or contextually funny, but yeah, a rubbish comedian. So I was believe it or not, a professional dancer for quite some time. Got injured out, and then the only other skill I had was being able to get people to turn up to shows. So I kind of, as all marketers,
that's a heck of a skill,
especially for contemporary dance, where the global audience is about 6 people. So, so if you can sell contemporary dance to people, you can sell anything to anybody. And yeah, the only other skill I had, so I started, like all marketers, I fell into marketing, and early adopter with kind of social media, 2005, 2008, and then kind of spun into marketing, which spun into helping other people do marketing, which spun into some interesting projects around the Northwest, helping creative and digital people, understand that the marketing bit of your business isn't selling out or evil. Because I kind of came from a creative background, and help them kind of change the nomenclature of things from kind of evil marketing to audience development and all of that kind of stuff. And I kind of got involved in the kind of enterprise development thing through a project called Creative Lancashire, which we were based down the entirety of the Northwest, helping kind of creative and digital companies profit more from their own IP. Rather than, this is way back 2005, so quite some time ago now. And we were just helping people with great ideas, like profit from that, and build links and build more of a kind of community outside the Manchester area, because Manchester's the London of the Northwest. Everything kind of gets sucked into Manchester. So what we were doing is like kind of building kind of infrastructure to help people get more of get more out of their own ideas. It was a very exciting project, and then that kind of spun into a load of other European funded projects about enterprise development and that kind of thing. So yeah, from performer to kind of helping businesses has been one serendipitous accident after another.
And do you miss the purity of the performing and the dance?
I'm a very physical presenter. It's the best way of describing this. When we kind of work with people and kind of present to audiences and things, both James and I have the principle that if you can entertain people as well as inform them, then they tend to pay more attention.
Yeah.
The last thing you need is somebody standing at the front of a room in front of bullet pointed PowerPoints, pointing to what you've got on the screen and going and saying what you're reading.
Yeah, what you've already read.
Exactly, right? So we have a kind of a much more collaborative, conversational approach. We use the power of reflection a lot, because most businesses, they know what they need to do. They just need to stop looking on the internet for hacks, tips and tricks from gurus and all of that kind of stuff, because everybody knows all you have to do is find, win and keep customers, and then kind of note down the numbers.
Yeah,
that's
the most common bit of feedback we get from anyone who's first time they come to see a certain event or any kind of workshop is going, yeah, I wasn't really going to come this morning. I thought it was going to be shit, and it really wasn't. We go, oh, well, that's high praise. Thanks.
Yeah, one of my favourite bits from a collaborator at one of the kind of local authorities we work with. Like, we'd had a meeting with him. He's like, "Yeah, you're not Bellends. I thought you were going to be, but you're not," which was really nice. Yeah. I'm not sure it's as positive as he thought it was, but yeah, most of what we do is helping people point out the obvious to people. In kind of marketing terms, when we're doing kind of like more skills-based workshop, like if you're doing kind of paid ads or working on kind of platforms, we always start off with what works on you. You know what I mean? Because generally most kind of businesses are chasing around people from their own ish demographic. You know what I mean? So then we kind of go, oh, but how do I get the best out of Facebook ads? And it's like, okay, what Facebook ads work on you? And they're like, well, I don't click on them. And it's like, well, should you really be doing them? If that's the kind of thing that you avoid, why are you expecting everybody else to be different? And one of the kind of main issues with the whole of the marketing industry is that many people sell hope and call it strategy. So it's like, oh, all you have to do is 20 minutes a day, do these kind of low effort ads, and all of a sudden your funnel will be filled with kind of people who are kicking down your door to buy. And this is like bollocks. Absolute nonsense, because people, weirdly, people are not very variable, if you know what I mean. Generally, most people, I know we all like to think we're all kind of delicate little snowflakes, but most people are kind of weirdly predictable. You know what I mean? And this is why we do segmentation and we do all of the kind of other stuff, is because if you're that kind of person, generally you can predict the behavior. And if something don't work on you, it's not going to work on your audience, you know? So that's where we start off.
I do like that. I quite often I'll look at our own Facebook ads or our own social media posts and I think, would I click on that? Am I interested in that? And if I'm not, then it's not right. Because when you're putting an ad together, it's very easy to get lost in your own process and think, yeah, it needs that, it needs that, it needs that. That's going to work. I'm going to get loads of results. But only when you see it yourself in your own feed, you think, do you know, no.
Yeah. And this is the thing, is that, well, the reason the whole kind of KiN thing and the relationship with ourselves is that I think people think it's different for everybody else, but not for them. And what you're saying about would it work on me is a really, really great question in terms of why are you doing it? Why are you thinking that it's different? Is it because somebody on the internet who was trying to tell you something created a pain within you, then agitated it, and then offered you a really convenient sounding solution for money, and then you're starting to doubt what you know just because of some rando off the internet, right? Now, people have enough information. Information is free, ubiquitous, everywhere, and yeah, it doesn't cost anything. So if you're putting ads together or you're putting content together, why are you making it about the information, right? Because you work in marketing, I work in marketing, that kind of thing. If you think about what we need to be talking about as business owners, we need to be talking about our customers, right? We need to be talking about our customers and what they find important, what their problems are, and how they see themselves in the language of them about their lives with stuff that they find important. Not, hi, let me tell you about our 5-step plan to do such and such, which is great because I'm trying to tell you how great it is so you'll buy my shit, right?
Yeah.
Right? And this is the reason why kind of your question is really important, is that would it work on me? And if you're talking about you, then your customers are listening about them, right? Marketing is just dating, right? Same principles apply. It's just dating, right, Darren? If you were going on a date with me and James, right?
Right.
Open your mind real wide. And I'm not saying it's not going to happen, play cards, right? So if you're on a date with James and I, and we sit you down and we've taken you somewhere swish, because we're that kind of guys,
like a booth at Weatherspoons.
I refuse to set foot in the spoons, but that's another.
TFI Fridays will go that far with you.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's a wimpy in Birkenhead we could take you to. I know, right?
Talk about going back in time.
So, if you go out on a date with me and we just spend the entire time talking about us, and we're like, let us tell you how great we were yesterday, then we're going to tell you how great we're being right now. And then for dessert, We're going to tell you how great we're going to be tomorrow. How long would it take you? How long would it take you to get bored of that?
It wouldn't be quick. It wouldn't be. It wouldn't
exactly.
be. It wouldn't be long. Sorry, it wouldn't be long.
Exactly. You'd instantaneously. I'm bored of that. Time to move on. Then why do we do our marketing in the same way?
Yeah.
These are all the successes I've had previously. Here's all of our products and services and why they're boss. And then this is what we're going to do tomorrow, which is going to be amazing. Marketing is simply dating. If business is a collection of, if business is a relationship, which it is, for all the reasons I said before, then the beginning bit of that is dating. And the same rules apply. We've got to tell you, oh, you look nice. You've kind of got a nice pair of earrings. Tell me where you bought that clothes. If I make it about you, who doesn't like talking about themselves?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty basic, that, isn't it? You know, talk about yourself, nobody's interested. Talk about the other person, and they're going to like talking to you. I saw a presentation yesterday at a BNI. I've got to be careful that I don't land somebody in this now. It was somewhere I'm not normally a member of. I went to visit this, and it was a travel agent. So it's obviously a very visual, very inspiring, very motivational thing. It should be an easy presentation to do. And every slide was a white background with black bullet-pointed text on it as he went through the entire history of where he used to work and what he used to do, and how the franchise of the travel agency works, and how different things he used to sell over the years works. Wow. And right at the very end, he still hadn't mentioned anything about the kind of destinations and holidays and experiences that he's created or can create for you. And it was the most boring-ass, dull son of a bitch presentation I've ever heard. And coming back to what you mentioned, Neil, about making your presentations entertaining, why do some people like that do such shit presentations? Why does it exist?
A couple of reasons, really. One, that's what they've seen, right? Is ignorance. What's that saying? Never attribute something to evil that you can attribute to ignorance, right? It's not deliberate, right? Like most people just do what they know, right? And the thing is that most people have a very poor understanding of marketing because the only understanding of marketing that is visible to them is advertising, right? So what they do is they try and recreate what they've seen in their own words, okay? And for a second reason, what he's done that for is he, she, they. What they've done that for is because they think the more they explain about themselves, the more you're going to like them, right? So, I mean, that's just, it's just kind of naivety, I think. And I think part of the challenge in marketing is getting over that fact that not everybody's going to like you. So what he's going to like, this is all I've done before. Look, if I explain to you my history, then you'll kind of value me right now, and then we can build a relationship. It's like going on a date and talking about yourself. Same thing.
Yeah, they're looking for credibility, I think, from basically what's down there. Like they're trying to say is, look, take me serious as a travel agent. I'm guessing they're probably quite new to it. So instead of going, look, you can do all these things and painting a picture and talking about cocktails on the beach and things that they should have been doing, instead of just going, oh no, but I am really serious and this business is really serious. You really should take it seriously. When nobody wants a serious discussion about travel, they want to hear about.
They want the dream. They want the dream.
Exactly. They want bonfires on the beach and
Stealth futures, not features. Right. Yeah. This is the key thing with marketing is that when you understand your punter, client, whatever you want to call them, then when you understand them properly, you can paint them a better future, and then the features don't matter. Right. If I had something in my pocket, Darren, that for every £1 you spent with me, you would get £2 back, would you buy it?
I think probably yes. Yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah. I haven't told you how it works. You don't care. You're just like, I like the results of that. Sound amazing.
Sounds awesome.
I'll have a bit. Right. I'll have a bit of that. It's about the features. What do they get? How does it fit with their desired narrative about themselves? What feature are you kind of going? Look, this could be yours. A bit like when they do the prize bit on game shows when they go, here's what you could win. And they're like, imagine yourself speeding on I'm going to go a bit bullseye at the minute because I'm old. Yeah. But imagine speeding on a speedboat around nobody can use a speedboat, but the idea of a speedboat is better than owning a speedboat.
Yes.
So that kind of, and here, entertain all of your friends with this fantastic ivory-handled knife set. And they're just trying to get you... Ivory's bad, let's just say that. Yeah. So that whole kind of thing of the painting a future is where all marketing should be. Sell the destination, not the bridge or the road or whatever. So yeah, and this is a very, very common problem, is that people are trying to build likability in the wrong way. You know, if you Cialdini's work about the laws of influence.
No.
You know, there's kind of 7 laws of influence. Right. And this is backed by over 60 years of science. And he wrote a book in 1985, which is the kind of nerdy marketers kind of Bible around, marketing is influence, right? It's getting people to do things. It's about action, not eyeballs. Yep, I can look at your thing, but if I don't do anything, then your marketing is less than optimal. Let's be kind. And so Cialdini kind of outlined the kind of did a big meta study of how we can create influence. And one of them is authority, one of them is reciprocity. You've probably heard the words, but kind of went around the science. One of them's authority, reciprocity, likability, internal consistency. And unless you are putting your effort into creating one of the influence triggers, then your marketing ain't going to work. And that's science. And we're in a kind of position now where access to the tools of marketing, kind of social channels, all that kind of stuff, are much more democratic. Yeah, in terms of, anyone with a phone can go, I'm a marketing consultant, and go, look, I can do your social for you. And here's all within your phone is contained video production, audio production, access to the channels, edit, all that kind of stuff. That is really, really cheap. And what that's doing is flooding the market with people who aren't kind of backed by, kind of science-driven techniques. Like, how do you create dopamine triggers? How do you use the triggers of influence? How do you use all of the other kind of stuff that science says works? And what you do is you get all of these kind of influences who just produce vast quantities of content, and 2% of it works. This is why a lot of influencer marketing doesn't have the tills ringing at the other end. They're very good at just being visible. They're not so good at the conversion, either hard or soft, into money, which is what we're all after. Surely.
So, why did you two actually start doing what you're doing now?
How do you mean?
Well, when you met up, I believe it was University of Manchester, wasn't
it? MMU. Met. They're different, but yeah.
Well, it's all the same to me. City United, it's all the same.
Yeah, they're both shit. I'm from Newcastle. Football comes in 2 colours, black and white.
Black and white. So when you met up, what made you decide that, I'm going to work with this guy that looks like he fits on the front of a Guess Who board? What made you think I want to work with him?
Richard. I've been told several times I look like Richard from Guess Who. Classic.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It took us about 3.5 years. We worked together for quite a long time. For the first kind of 6 months of us working together, we didn't really speak to each other. It was only after about 3 years we realised what had happened was that both of us were waiting for the other person to do something or say something. So we were both just reflecting each other's behaviour of just complete blankness, both waiting for somebody to do something. And we both just kind of just circled each other like an endless pair of dogs sniffing each other's bums, and that took probably about 6.
You went with that
months.
Picture,
yeah.
Seriously, man.
Let's take a moment to appreciate that image.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, James.
It's like 2 sausage dogs in like a never-ending cycle.
Wearing waistcoats and hats.
Yeah. So we worked together. So we were both delivering on the same project, but we just didn't really. We just kind of got on with it all, and then started sharing an office and realised that we've both got a pretty dark sense of humour, and we're sharing office with a woman in her mid-60s, probably, Jane, who had the same kind of humour, and it was just stuff that you can't really repeat in a recorded medium. And then we just started getting more and more into what we were delivering. So we were delivering a kind of a European contract, doing business support stuff, and we realised that this kind of relationshipy stuff was something we did anyway. But we started to play with it and experiment with it and turn it up a little bit more. and realized that we were getting some really, really good results. It's quite emotional, some of the stuff that we do with people. We kind of, the support that we were giving on that program was essentially a personal growth program disguised as a business course. So we were doing a huge amount of reflective stuff, doing a huge amount of work with people, and we're seeing them for kind of 7 or 8 sessions spread out over kind of 3 months. So we really got to know everybody and spending full days with people. So we were seeing some ridiculously good results from people, and people just kind of making massive changes to their lives. We've kind of shepherded people through 6 divorces, a load of businesses shutting down and starting up new ones. We still have regular contact with people that we worked with 5 or 6 years ago. We're going to a 50th birthday next weekend of someone that we met kind of 4 years ago, delivering kind of business support to them. So then about kind of 4 years in, we kind of thought, this is really good and we're getting excellent feedback from people. Why don't we try and do this for ourselves and not be shackled? I was trying to think of a word that wasn't too bad. Shackled by universities. They're not a massive fan of swearing and some of the more loose stuff that we want to do with it. So we thought, well, let's try and do it for ourselves. And found a contract that was doing something great in Manchester. We'll go for that, and if we get it, we'll start the business. And then the first one we did, bang, let's go. We got ourselves a nice little bit of money coming through. So let's crack on. So
I think the main change is we kind of replanned everything. We had a kind of existing version of the contract. We replanned anything, and that's when we kind of really opened up. And I think the thing that we've kind of realized overtly that many businesses don't, and this kind of reflects all of your business processes, is that business is an intensely personal thing, right? It's not that there's all of these kind of holdovers from people watching Mad Men and listen, kind of, all of the kind of Gordon Gekko, greed is good, all this kind of stuff. Like with the advent of the internet, business is now about people rather as well as structures. It's about the people within the business. And if you want to, and this is going to become ever more important with the advent of AI and all of the kind of machine stuff that's coming, is that, I don't know about you, Darren, but I'm not sure I can ever really bond with a machine.
Yeah.
It's about people and creating that kind of connection. And this is why we kind of say, about the relationships, you need to connect with your own products and services, with your team, with your suppliers, with your customers, and with yourself. And I think the whole, it's not personal, it's only business, is the most inaccurate sentence you can possibly say. Because if you think about the brands you like, you're not like, oh, I really love the building. Oh, right? You make a personal connection as one human with the experience that you get from using that product.
Yeah, it's a motive.
Yeah, and 100%. Business is all emotion these days, right? And this is the thing, that when you've got like brands like McDonald's kind of branding themselves about relationships, and Coca-Cola branding themselves about dodgy relationships, watching blokes strip off while they're cleaning windows. That's not a business. That's a personal thing. That's a human thing. And the more we can make business about humanity, the better, which is why it has to be a person-to-person thing, which makes it emotional. And that when we kind of replanned our project, we were thinking, okay, where does this emotionality begin? And you have to build your business from the inside out. Have to. It's about people. You need to be present. One of the where was I yesterday? It was a conversation I was having the other day online, where the people talk. It was a LinkedIn Live, one of these audio recorder things, and they were kind of saying, "Well, how can I automate my marketing so I don't have to pay any attention to it?" And it's like, that's exactly the wrong thing to do, because if you're trying to automate it and make it less effort, what you're saying is my customers aren't valuable and I don't want to deal with people, and they'll go somewhere else because we like this connection with people. And that's what makes great moments. And that's what you should be creating for your customers, is astonishing moments. One of my favorite bits in kind of business history is, have you ever owned an iPhone, Darren?
I have one right here. Yeah.
I bought my first iPhone in 2008, right? And the amazing thing about the iPhone was the box for me, right? The iPhone was amazing. It felt like a pebble. You could turn it over in your hands. It was amazing. But the one of the best moments was they used to have this really super tall box. I don't use iPhones these days, but they had a super tall box. So when you were trying to get it out of the box, you had to hold it, and the top would take ages to open, and it was like building drama. And they'd planned that. It wasn't an accident. Most of the box was just space, but they thought, oh, I want it, and they'd really thought about the moment they were creating for their customers, where they're kind of like building that drama and the reveal. And as a business, we need to be really clear. All a brand is a promise of an experience for your customer, right? So you need to know what the experience is that you're creating. We use a 3-word exercise about how would you describe your business in 3 words? Not really fucking great, but kind of we are generally direct, challenging, useful, with a kind of side order of funny. And everything we do is that, right? So we have to be, that's what we do in terms of how our marketing is created, how we deliver our sessions, how we deliver our coaching, how we deliver all of that kind of, how we deliver our kind of accountability community that we deliver. And it's every single thing we do is direct, useful, challenging, and funny, right? So then all businesses need to do, for everything they need to do, your brand needs to run through everything that you do, like the word Blackpool runs through a stick of rock, right? Wherever you snap it, it's the same word with the same flavor in the same way, and that kind of stuff. And what kind of many businesses need to reflect on is, what experience are you creating? Now, Apple had done that, and they thought, from the very get-go, from opening the box before you've even touched the phone, we're going to build some magic and drama and fabulousness in it. Because that's where they were at the time. They were going, we've got the future in a box, and it's this phone that will change your life. And they thought about the experience that they were delivering from before you had the phone. All businesses, and this is where small businesses have a massive agility benefit over larger businesses, is because they can pivot and they can change and they can amend and iterate. And what the advice I would give any business at the moment is, in a world where your competition is global, right? What we do is less important than how we do it. And how we do it is our brand, and nothing that you put into the public domain shouldn't be deliberate. I'll rephrase that. Everything we put into the public domain should be deliberate. We should go, okay, if our brand is entertaining, then it should be about entertainment. If it is about conveying authority, then everything needs to add up to this. And this is what many businesses don't quite understand, is that nothing is irrelevant, right? Everything means everything. Everything that's visible either adds to it's either fuel or friction for your message. Right? It either adds to it or it takes it away. There's no middle ground. There's no it'll do, because humans are judgy bastards, right? We're very, very judgy. We're fucking massively judgy. People listening to this are judging what kind of human I am and being dazzled by James's good looks, clearly. So what happens is, we do we do an exercise in when we kind of coach people and do workshops, and we use 2 different hairdressers, right? And it's like a picture of a hairdresser from the outside, can't even see in the building. One hairdresser is like a neighborhood hairdresser, right? And the other one is like a city center kind of swishy, where footballers go kind of thing. You know what I mean? And we get them to go, tell us who goes there, what the experience is like, what the haircut's like, what the price is like, from a single image. And they feel really comfortable in doing that, because humans are judgy bastards. So everything you put out into the public domain is important. There's no just get it out there, which is makes me want to stab things when people say that.
It's what you were saying about Apple then as well. I mean, it comes back to what you mentioned earlier about the future pacing. When Apple released the iPod, they didn't say it's an MP3 player, it's got 8 gig of memory, it has touch controls or any shit like that.
Well, that's what Zoom did.
It's 10,000 songs in your pocket.
the future that you have. Imagine not having to carry 15 CDs around with you, right? But all of the kind of the data-driven kind of, it does this. It's that was what Zoom did. Anyone got a Microsoft Zoom these days?
No,
nobody has. No. And this is the thing: futures, not features, man. Nobody cares. Most people don't care whether your product is built by enchanted pixies, left-handed gingers, kind of morally ambiguous unicorns, right? They don't care. They just want the outcome, right? And you find a lot of businesses trying to emphasize pointless detail. You know what I mean? We use everything. We only make it with our left hand. They're trying to create novelty and distinctiveness by misunderstanding that it's not about them. It's about what the punter gets. It's about the experience.
And I mean, you've mentioned a few already, but what are the main mistakes you think businesses are making with their marketing?
They listen to idiots.
Pretty much sums it up. You know, they listen.
Yeah, they listen to idiots, and I'll qualify this in a minute, right? They listen to idiots. They don't listen to themselves. That is fundamentally the thing. We kind of started this conversation off with this a little while back, but the reason why we do what we do is that business help, intelligence, and training is not really transferable, right? What is useful for your business at the stage you are, with the person you are, with the market you have, with all of the things about your business, what's useful for your business is probably not as useful for ours, or is more useful, right? It's different, right? So what happens is you get people listening to people making sweeping statements like, all you need to do is, here is the simple thing, right? I will fix your business. It's basically the comfortable lie versus the uncomfortable truth, right? So what happened? The internet is all about, I'm an expert. Here's the thing. The 20 minutes a day will make you rich, powerful, more attractive, and smell like lemons, whatever it is. And all businesses are different, right? All business owners are different. Even within our business, even though James and I seem to share a brain for most people outside the business, we are very different. We see things differently and respond very, very differently. So if James needs some help with something, he needs different help to what I do, because we're different, right? And this is the main mistake that most people make with their businesses. They're looking for simple answers to complex problems. And when they find a simple answer, they think, oh, that's simple, it must work. You've been in business a while, Darren.
14 years, Engage Web.
How simple is your business, and how easy? Exactly. You're like, nah. And yet this is the thing, is that people spend most of their time sweeping the internet for the next simple hack, easy fix. Just click this button, just wave this flag, just this simple stuff. And people need to stop searching, center themselves, and become more sensitive to their own understandings.
That's why we've got a courses website that we have. It's called Online Learning Academy, and there's a particular course on there about how you can earn money as a writer on the internet before ChatGPT came in, which has kind of got people thinking it's even easier than it was before.
Good.
But of all the people that have downloaded that course, it's got practical assessments in it, and then a final completion at the end where they send something in to be marked. Ooh. I think it's had something like 60, 70 downloads. People have paid for this course. 2 people have actually gone through and completed it. Because everybody wants the success of being a writer and getting paid to write on the internet. Nobody wants to put in the work. They just want the wave a magic wand, as you say, and it's suddenly there.
I've been listening to a really interesting series of audio recordings by LeBron James, right? Because I love his voice. It's like velvet. He's absolutely sounds amazing. But what he's saying is talent is never enough, right? Desire is never enough. It's not what your idea is, it's what you build, right? And buildings happen over time. And building's about it's about habit. It's about consistent effort. It's about it's about what we do rather than what we know. And this is kind of, we run a thing called KiNsiders because we love a pun, clearly. And what we realized is that we worked with like kind of between a pair of us and the stuff we did for MMU in Cheshire, we worked with about 650 businesses over 5 years. So it was a really great kind of study, kind of experimental set. And we found the same thing. People would come on the course and go, "This is the most amazing thing. I'm gonna change forever, and it's gonna be fantastic." And even though what we do is we kind of supported them through like doing actions through the course and kind of change behavior, which is why it was kind of so long. And then even though we kind of spent time filling them full of kind of confidence and clarity and momentum and all that kind of stuff, well, 80% of the people who came on the courses, they just went from growing their business to business as usual when they didn't have that kind of impetus, encouragement, and structure behind them. And so this is why we set up KiNsiders, which is basically it's not a know-how course, it's a do-how course. Right? Most people have enough information. If they don't, they can find it on the internet. Fantastic. What they don't have is a level of personal accountability to themselves, right? Which is, okay, I said I was going to do this. Here's how I'm going to do it. Because what we realize is that most business owners need two different kinds of support. Okay, you need, and we call it it's challenge and nurturing. Right. So it's kind of like carrot and stick. You need two different kinds of support, right? You need one kind of support, which is like, don't worry, Darren, you've got it. They're all bastards. They'll understand in the end. And everybody will realize you're right at some point. And you're doing really well and giving you the pump up, right? Being your friend, nurturing you as a human, kind of going, okay, you're a person in this business. This is how you need to kind of grow as a human, and I've got you, don't worry, right? So carrot stuff. And on the other side, you've got the stick stuff, which is, Darren, you said you were going to do this. You said you were going to focus on finding X, Y, and Z customers. You said you were going to do blah, 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 blah. Right? And then where is it? You said by when, and just a stick kind of keeping you accountable to yourself. Yeah. All business owners need both, right? All business owners need both. And yet, and they can't be the same person, right? For obvious reasons, right? Because the gear change for that human to go from, don't worry, Darren, you've got it, to where the hell is it? It's too much of a shift, right? So they have to be different people, and they can't be a partner. They cannot be a life partner or a significant other. We see so many female entrepreneurs with hypercritical partners who are just trying to protect them. What are you doing that for? It's rubbish. I wouldn't do it like that. It's like, okay. So we set up KiNsiders to help people get out of their own way, generally, and kind of do more of what they know and feel great doing it. And it's kind of like structured through the week where we have accountability calls and we help people just kind of focus on what's good. And we also give them the strokes that they need. James is nicer than I am by quite a country mile.
So you're the bad cop then?
Yes. I bring the difficult. I bring the challenge and the difficult questions. James seems to have a spider sense of, from a distance, being able to kind of sense when people are struggling with something, and you'll call them out of the blue and they're like, how the hell do you know this? And it's magical. So what we do, this is why we set up KiNsiders, is that kind of support. And most of it is just trust your own judgment. Back to my original point about listening to idiots. There are no simple answers in business. You don't need any more information. You just need more sensitivity.
Yeah, one of the big points that we really kind of help with is kind of validation. So we work with a lot of women, especially when we've gone kind of second and third careers, and coaches really suffer from this as well. They really need that external validation. So they always want to go and get that next certificate. There's always another bit of paper that's going to make them feel much better about going and speak to those big clients that they really want. Some of them are ex-blue chip employees themselves. They've worked for these big companies. They know exactly how they work. They seem to think that this next bit of paper is going to give them that feeling of satisfaction and knowing that they can do the job rather than just knowing that they've got the skills innately. So we do a lot about kind of, why do you think you need this? Who do you think this validation is who do you need that from? How's it going to work for you? So you spend quite a lot of time working on a lot of that they used to be called softer skills, but they're just kind of really entrenched bits about who you are that things to do with self-criticality and self-talk and confidence, and we just help people feel a lot more capable in the short term. They kind of borrow confidence from us in the short term until they can build it for themselves.
That's interesting. Yeah. I actually know a female business owner who is what she calls herself a course addict.
Yeah,
and she will go for these qualifications over and over again. And we a couple of us have told her, you need to stop this. You've got enough now. And she is. I think she told me last week she's booked on another one. Is it inherently a bad thing if someone does that? If they do love a course and love learning?
It's not a problem to do that kind of stuff, but you just need to be really honest about yourself, about why you're doing it. You get the same people that will go to 4 or 5 networking events a week, but actually don't get any business out of it. So you're not really networking, you're socializing with people that aren't your friends. As long as you're honest about what that is, I haven't got a problem with it. Get out of the house, do what you need to do if it makes you feel good about yourself. And the same with the courses, really, because some people go on courses for all sorts of reasons. We've had people come on our courses to poach clients. We had a builder who, out of 12 people, within 6 months, had done building work for 10 of them. Go for it, mate. Like, if that's made your business better and you weren't disrupting the class, I haven't got a problem with it at all. But I think she's a course addict because she hasn't found the one that's actually giving her what she needs. That's fundamentally what that is. She's looking for something external. There's a reason why she's doing it, and she hasn't found one that's giving her that. So, I mean, if you want to point her our way, I bet she stops going.
I think the thing is that I mentioned this before is that most people think it's around knowing better will improve things.
Magic words.
Yeah, exactly. What we call it kind of magic word thinking is that just tell me the easy way, tell me the best way. There is no easy, there is no best. It is what you do. It's not what you know. And there's this kind of we learn it in school in the fact that all we need is more information. We'll get better exams, and then we'll have a better life. Mm-hmm. It's provably fallacious. The fact that and this is why people who are not often the best students at school do the best in business is because they're not that invested in information. They've gone and done the hustling. They've gone and done the doing. They've gone, and this is what we were kind of talking about the ex-offenders that kind of James used to work with, is that they've got the know-how. They're just getting the do-how wrong. So they just need to kind of refine what they do. And it's common across most business people, is that most people know how to run a business, right? If you ask them, and not about your business, if you were giving advice to other people, what would you tell other people to do? Then they will tell you in great detail what you need to do to run a business, whether that's marketing, sales, all that kind of stuff, because they know. What they do is they look away from the important bits because they've got this kind of little voice in their head going, "Are you sure? Oh, I remember that time when you were 6 when you properly fucked up." And this kind of like super negative kind of challenging voice in their head. And they think that what they know isn't right because they have doubts about it. Get out and do it. Experiment. What that lady's doing is learning and not doing. And this is kind of where we put the traction, is kind of helping people have a bit more faith in themselves. They borrow our belief in them, basically, is that they kind of borrow, because we know everyone can get whatever they want out if they just get out of their own way. So we believe 100% in them, and people who work with us tend to borrow our belief in themselves to apply what they know and get more of what they want.
Yeah, they're so scared of making mistakes. They're so scared of looking silly to other people, especially if they, we work with a lot of people that are doing it for a second or third career, and they're terrified of going online and people seeing them with their new little business, that they're going to look down on them, and it's all just in their own heads. No one cares. No one's looking at you. They're all busy with their own thing, and they're so paranoid about getting it wrong. They want to know the exact best thing to do before they make a single step. They want to know what's the best time of day I should be posting, how many posts should I make a day, all this stuff. It doesn't matter. Just post, just get on with it, get better at it, because you're going to be crap when you start anyway, and just keep moving in the right direction, one foot in front of the other consistently, and you'll get there. Just don't stop. It's like running a marathon. Just don't stop. Just keep going. It doesn't matter how fast you do it, how long it takes. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to go in a straight line like that. You can have good days and bad days, but just don't stop doing it. And that's the people that we see the most success with, are the ones that don't ever stop. They always come back to us and say, that thing that you told me to do, brilliant, worked really, really well. Now what do we do this bit? Okay, well, where do you want to go next? What do you want to get out of it? And we can help.
What do you know about that? Yeah. Exactly. I mean, this notion of mistakes is a really important one. And I think you have to go through the quantity to get to the quality, whatever you're doing, right? And I think a lot of people, we tend to work with kind of people in the first 5 years of business, right? Before they, like with people like you, you've got experience. I mean, how many mistakes have you made in your business, Darren?
Oh, loads.
And some of them probably quite serious.
Yes, some of them pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you die though?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Exactly, right? And this is the thing, is that people...
I don't think I've killed anyone either.
Well, we can't talk about that.
No.
But the people at the start, they're so used to having a job where you've got to fit in, you've got to make no mistakes, you've got to like reduce risk at all possible things, that when they do shift to a second or third career, they don't realize that having a job is fitting in, but having a business is standing out, right? And so that's why they're looking for best. That's why they're looking for certainty, in effect. And what we help them see, and this is the same if you're going to run a marketing campaign, if you're going to do anything, get your mistakes out of the way while your audience is small, right? Iterate, just talk more, be more public, take a little bit more risk, and then you build a support structure so you can mitigate the impact of those mistakes rather than try and make no mistakes. Because there's a really lovely bit where people throw off the shackles when they make a mistake and they realize, wow, actually not that much happened. Yep, lost a customer, we put in a tender for some massive work recently, didn't get it, and then we both got a little bit sad about it. And then I'm slowly realizing, well, nothing actually changed other than my feelings about things. So great, let's go and do some more stuff. And this is where for everybody in business, you need to nurture that little bit of rebel spirit inside you, where you're just going to go, I'm just going to experiment with stuff. One of our kind of core concepts is we see ourselves as explorers, not experts, right? And I think if you run your business, run it as a series of experiments, and always have a bonkers one kind of bubbling away at the side. Always have something nuts going on, so you kind of go, I don't know whether it's going to work, it's a bit mental, but let's go at it. And it's the crazy stuff, the stuff that's really distinctive, that people really buy into usually. But you have to kind of do that managed risk thing around not business as usual. We kind of see it as business growth tasks versus business as usual tasks. And generally, because we're humans and we like routine, we tend to err towards business as usual tasks. And what we do is we kind of bring our support structure around to help people focus on tiny things, usually, which are going to help grow their business. And it's not just make sales calls, it's about applying your own innate creativity.
Wow. Do you know, I don't think I've done a podcast which has had quite so many quotable moments in it.
It's almost like I work in marketing, Darren.
It is almost like you work in marketing. It's almost like, you say this stuff in front of a room full of people, maybe from a stage. I don't know.
I know.
It's incredible. But sadly, we are just about out of time, which is devastating, because I could do this all day, quite frankly. So before we wrap up, if there's someone listening to this that thinks, my God, that those two guys have just said stuff that's going to change my life, what is the best way for people to get into contact with you?
Our website. If you come to all the information and further, like, kind of detail and a little bit more about what we do, because as usual with business, we've only just kind of scratched the surface. You'll see some very attractive pictures of James and I as well, which is always a good thing. If you go to our kind of website, which is all the w's.kinawesome, KIN awesome.co.uk, and we're on all the socials, KiN Awesome UK. Come and just have a look, join the mailing list, because we share some interesting things on there. Or you can kind of get us on LinkedIn. We've got a company page, or you can get Neil Simpson or James Crawley, link up with us. We love to connect with people. And we're doing some interesting video series on LinkedIn. Yesterday we were talking about how people get wasps wrong, and that they deserve a little bit more sympathy than
misunderstood.
Then wasps are misunderstood.
Misunderstood wasps. Okay.
Yeah, and we turn that into a little bit of a business lesson. So who wants to make that?
I'm definitely going to check that out.
Cliffhanger for next time, Darren. We'll do an hour on wasps.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, really good fun.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much, guys. I've loved it.